Hello everyone, this week we will be making lardy cake, and in your delivery you will receive flour, butter, lard, some brown sugar, some mixed fruit and some yeast. Now for this activity you will need a mixing bowl, half a teaspoon of salt, 150 millilitres of water, a tray and a wooden spoon. At this stage we are going to form our dough and we're going to mix it all together. So take your bowl. Now I have halved the lard. So the lard that has been delivered to you, cut in half. So we're just using that at the moment. So on my plate is the flour, half of the lard, half a teaspoon of salt and 7 grams pack of yeast. And I am going to put that into my bowl. Mix it all in together, all of the salt, the flour, then I'm going to add my yeast and I'm going to use my fingers and we're going to start mixing it all together. Now we want to break up the lard. It's probably better to have it at room temperature for a little while. And we want to break up all of that lard into the flour and yeast mixture using just the tip of our fingers. There, I don't have any large lumps of lard now. It's all mixed in. So now we need to add our water. We do not want to add all of the water. We're going to add about 3/4 of it. And then, because we don't want it too wet, so we're going to add about 3/4 of it, like that. So I've left some of it in there, and then I'm going to, with my fingers again, mix it round. It goes instantly warm, and that's the yeast activating. I'm going to add a little bit more. It's always best to just do little bits at a time rather than too much, because you can always add the water, but once the water's in you can't really take it back out. So I'm just rubbing it and pinching it all together. What we want is so that there is no flour and mixture on the side of the bowl, so just a fraction bit more. Wow, that's coming together beautifully now. And there we are, there's our dough. So, if you lightly flour your surface, and I know you've done this before, we are going to knead this together for about 5 to 10 minutes. So this will definitely get the muscles going. Okay. Oh, that's hard work. So there we have a lovely smooth dough. So I'm going to put it in a clean bowl and I'm going to cover it with cling film. And I'm going to put it in a nice, a warmish room. Room temperature is absolutely fine. Now with this is going to need to prove for about 1 to 2 hours. So it needs to double in size, so keep an eye on it. Depends how warm your room is, it might be a little bit quicker. But yeah, once it's doubled in size, then it's ready for us to move on to the next stage. So we now have our dough, which has doubled in size. We put ours in a very warm room, and to be honest, it didn't take 2 hours, it took just about an hour. So just, you can gauge it. So we're going to lightly flour our surface. And then we are going to tip our wonderfully warm dough out onto the surface. So now we want to roll it into a rectangle shape, which is about 1 centimetre thick. It doesn't have to be exact. It's all approximately. like that. So we've got our nice rectangle, and we're now going to add the rest of our ingredients. Now, what I have done with the rest of your ingredients, you need to divide them into 3. So your fruit, you divide into 3, your butter, divide into 3, your remaining lard and your sugar, all divided into 3. Because then, what we're going to do, so I'm going to start with the butter first. We are going to dab the butter onto the dough. Then we're going to take a third of our lard. We're going to add the lard. Then we are going to take a third of our sugar. We're going to sprinkle this all over. You might want to just do this with your fingertips actually, and just sprinkle it on. There we are. And then finally, make sure we've got all of that yummy sugar. It's going to give it some wonderful flavours. And then we take a third of our dried fruit. So we sprinkle this onto the dough, making sure we get all the bits that have fallen off, like that. Now, we're now going to fold the mixture. So we start at the top and we fold it into the middle, and then we get the remaining mixture and we fold that in. So we're making like a little bit of an envelope. And so we have it like that. And then we're making sure we've got plenty of flour on our surface. Making sure all our ingredients are in. And we've got plenty of flour on the top, plenty of flour on our rolling pin. We are now going to roll it out very carefully into another rectangle, a bit like we did in the first stage, like that. If you've ever made flaky pastry, this is exactly the same. So we have our rectangle again, and we're going to do exactly the same process using up the rest of our ingredients. So that's all of our ingredients now on, and we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to fold it over. Oh, it's a bit thicker now, making sure all the yummy ingredients are inside. So we turn it round again. I'm going to sprinkle it for the final time, and we're going to roll it out, and it's going to go in our tin. Now, I know we've all got different shapes and size tins at home. This doesn't need a huge baking tin. It just needs fairly small one. This is about 9 inches by 9 inches, but I can leave it for you guys to decide which you want to put it in. So I'm now going to put a little bit more flour on so that it's sticking just slightly, because it has all of those different ingredients in it. And there we are, we're rolling it out so that it fits inside our tin. Just line it up next to it, and just a little bit this way. And there we are, just make it into a little bit of a square, and then we put that inside our tin, like that. We're going to now cover it in cling film, and we're going to let it prove again for 30 minutes. So cover the tin in cling film, put it somewhere warm again for 30 minutes, and then it's ready to go into the oven. So After proving, after 30 minutes, it is a lovely size, so I'm now going to put it in the oven. That's going to go in for 30 to 35 minutes or until it's nice and golden. So it's time to get our lardy cake out of the oven. It smells amazing and looks gorgeous. So you can enjoy this with some butter and some jam. Have fun.